All right, folks, we are live. Welcome to the Paint and Pendulum. That name is a very old name. I think Chris, you and I discussed it like 3 days ago. Palm.
Something like that.
It's been at least 3 days. So listen, we are very glad. I'm glad to have you guys with us. For those of us watching live and watching later, strap in, buckle up, grab your maidens and your glaives. What you're about to witness and join us with is what we like to call an immersive collaborative storytelling improvisation, otherwise known as a role playing game. We're going to be based on the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Um, Today, we are going to come at you. We're going to build a world. We're going to build a story. And with let's start with me. My name is totally irrelevant. My name is irrelevant. My role here is to present the world to our ensemble. And they will essentially drive this story forward. I'll improvise on behalf of the vast open world. Any characters that our ensemble runs into and interacts with will be voiced by me. This golden throat that I've got, I'm going to use it, all of it. I have very few rules here. Guys, stay in character. No metagaming, please. You are, after you do your human intros, from then on, you are your characters. These five heroes, we're going to call them the Quintex, and they will be in control with full agency of what they do, which paths to pursue, and which NPCs, non player characters for the uninitiated, to ignore. They might ignore someone that I've spent a lot of time really developing. That's okay. That person will still be in the world and may come back. There will be arguments between these folks. There will be obstacles. There will be tragedy. If all five of you survive through the end to level 20, it will be quite an accomplishment. And I will be shocked. And there will be deceit. There will be deceit. So, how is this different from other RPGs you may have played before? Well, the main difference is there's going to be a lack of constraints. See, I am going to improvise these non player characters, but when I'm asked to interpret the rules, I am going to be err on the side of speed, story, and characters. Because for me, the glory is in the story. Now, let's introduce our players. And folks, introduce yourself and your character. And the moment you introduce your character, you are that character. Let's start with Martin. Give us a little bit about you and then tell us about your character.
Hello, my name is Martin. Uh, this is probably my third D&D game ever, so we're starting off new. I'm going full into the character. I have 3 small children. The oldest is 4. The youngest is a week old today. And you probably heard one just now. Come here. So I will be muted a lot because my house is very loud and very excited. Thank you. We are ready to play. And this is my daughter. There you go. See yourself. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, that'll happen a lot. I'll
All
also
right, let's hear about your character.
Yes. Okay, they're currently fighting. I will be playing Havel Stonehand, a young dwarf by human standards, about 50, give or take. I studied smithing as an apprentice and left my hold to adventure and find my own path. And that is all you get for now.
Alex, tell us about yourself and Karnath.
So my name is Alex. I am an attorney. I currently live in South Dakota. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for a long time. I got the third edition books. They released a couple days before my 13th birthday, which I guess you guys can also probably figure out how old I am if you want to do math. And I am playing Karnath, who is a blue dragonborn hexblade warlock who wields an axe named Tilacha that he hates and which hates him back.
Awesome. Falks. Let's hear about you, the human, and then the proper spelling and pronunciation of your character.
Yeah. So it's well, I'll start with the human. So I'm Chris, one of the two Chris's in the chat, unfortunately. I'm also a lawyer. I live in a suburb of Chicago. I've been playing D&D since college. So like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I'm playing Fakes, which is maybe a little bit too on the nose. But Fakes, who's a bard who is different from most bards in that his talent is more of a means to an end rather than an end in and of itself. But I will leave the rest of it to, he's a changeling. I will leave the rest of it to the game.
Awesome. The other Chris.
All right. My name is also Chris. You can call me CP or whatever, Palm, to differentiate. But yeah, I live in New York. I am playing it's a Warforged wizard named Hore. He is from a mysterious past, but he came from an island, has been living in somewhat seclusion for many years, and only recently has ventured out into the world. And maybe the rest of the characters will eventually learn a little bit more about where he came from and what he's doing. But you may catch the ticking of a clock that comes from a set of clocks on his belt that are eternally ticking down the hours.
And the question is ticking down to what?
Indeed.
Shane, you're muted. Please unmute. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so
The pod has no name, but your character does.
exactly, Jason. So yeah, this is Shane. Not my first the Painted Lines rodeo. I'm sure some Painted Lines viewers and fans recognize me from a pod has no name. So this is really cool. Fantasy genre podcast moving into D&D. I am a first time player. Something I've always really been into, like the video games and books, but never really had anybody to do D&D with. So this is a very exciting first time experience for me and my character Barabash Buttersby, who is going to be a druid. And Barabash, after his formative years with some in droid school with his droid tribe, left and opened an inn in the middle of nowhere. Very, very few and infrequent visitors. A bit of a crazy kind of wild card is how I imagine Barabash, and leans toward good, but definitely way more chaotic. And his time alone in the inn has definitely made him a little bit crazy by now.
Time alone in the inn. Time. Okay, so let's put you guys into the world. We're going to go with another intro to give you guys a little bit of where you have found yourself.
The Paint and Pendulum, a Painted Lines production. Comfort is a death sentence. A life untested is a life unlived. I am Gregorio, and I invite you into the world of Benalia, a world divided. I have been a guide, philosopher, and transporter for Vestment Intermodal for years, and one thing I've learned is that predictable people live predictable lives and die predictable deaths. Join our intrepid adventurers as they journey through the Vestment Intermodal Highway, the primordial forests of Esmeralda, and the scarred hills of Harboron. The glory is in the story, and mediocrity is the real enemy.
Okay, folks, we are in. You guys have found yourselves in the city of Broadwalk. Let's get to it. The city of Broadwalk is a port city where everyone meets, either looking to get away from something or perhaps get away for the weekend and spend some of their hard-earned gold. Very popular with the miners of Harboron. And quite frankly, this is a place that is dangerous. It's renowned for its consumption, indulgence, and wealth. There's music in the cafes at night and revolution in the air. It's become a haven for social adventurers like yourselves, expatriates, and the entertainment that they crave. Originally founded by the early prospectors of the region around Harboron, those who made their fortune and wanted to retire with wine, comfort, and song. The mayor here is an honorary title. It has very little real authority. A man named Bergeron is the current mayor. He won the title by telling the best story in a contest. Folks, you guys have met here outside of a tavern called the Mounted Mule. You guys are all together out front. It is nighttime, and let's get into it. Introduce yourselves to each other.
I guess I'll start. So I'm a tall blue dragonborn. I look around, see you all milling about, and go, "Is this place open?"
So
Barabash has kind of wandered into his first time in the lively city, and where else better to go than the Mounted Mule? At least that's what the people on the street have been telling me.
So I'm a tall but hunched over warforged, wearing a blue cloak that wraps around most of my body, kind of obscuring it. So I just look like this large hunched figure, but I'm holding a book and I'm just kind of scribbling in it, watching all of you, saying, "Oh, and why are you all here today?" And I'm just taking notes.
Is anyone else introducing, or shall we move?
Yeah. Yes. I already have a tankard of ale, drinking it as it gushes down my large red beard, my short bald head barely coming up to the chest of the Warforged, and I am chugging it, and I loudly belch at your direction and go,
And Fakes is currently a nondescript humanoid, a human-looking individual who is just trying to blend in, but noticed a gathering of more interesting folks than usually is gathering outside of this tavern, and just sort of, is trying to blend in with the crowd, but notices that these seem to be some interesting people that might be at least interesting and maybe profitable at some point as well.
All right.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. The tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I want to drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Made to feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me. Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Mad world.
Okay, folks, welcome back. This is a mad world. There is music. You hear the music coming out of the door, and you venture in.
Must be open. And I'm gonna open the door
It's definitely open.
and like wave my hand like these people should walk through.
What you see is this is less a tavern, more a, let's call it a hotel, a arena, a concert hall. It's very much built around entertainment. In fact, as I said, this entire town is built for entertaining very stressed people with very hard lives and giving them a night, a week of comfort. It's very expensive here. A lot of money is put into production and entertainment. The first thing you see as you take a seat is a couple of men, older men, arguing over what's better, one ogre or 20 bullywugs. One man says the ogre is just way more powerful. You can do a lot more with him. The other gentleman says, yes, but the bullywugs are easier to control. There's more of them. Yes, they're not as powerful, but many hands make light work. In another corner, you see a large blonde man named Frederick. And you know his name is Frederick because he says his own name every 2 seconds. I'm Frederick. He has a huge smile. He's wearing shiny plate armor. Plate armor, as shiny as can be. Not a dent in the thing. And he's telling a story about how he actually defeated a dragon. He tells this story with such investment, emotional tone, to the point where he sheds a small tear for effect as he talks about his entire party who died in the effort. And then goes quickly back to describing how he landed the final blow. As everyone else around was dead, he bested the foul beast. And he produces a small, shimmering, metallic scale as proof. The bartender congratulates him and says that drinks are on the house tonight. Everybody cheers. So your first drink tonight is on the house. Just then,
just in time.
Yet, just then, another musician makes his way to the stage.
It's hard to open up my eyes when I feel like I've been blind all of my days. Now I'm wandering through the haze, and the world, it looks so crazy. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me. We all find our secrets, patient in the shadows, right there where we left them waiting. And no matter how far we run, they run right beside us. Our demons know our names better than anyone. See me trapped within this construct, beating at the locked up door, and gripped tight deep within my fist is the key to all I've missed. But the pain is just the teacher, and the cage is just a myth. We all find our secrets, patience in the shadows, right there where we left them waiting. No matter how far we run, they run right beside us. Our demons know our names better than anyone. Lie, 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 lie. Spent so many hours building up and giving power to the worst I could imagine lived in me. And then, no, to my surprise, when the beast as me disguised was the best at breaking everything, everything, everything I dreamed. Lie, 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 lie. You who presume you can stay dry by dodging all the raindrops falling thick, try lifting up your tongue to the rain, not just the sun. Nothing quite so simple was ever so much fun. We all find our secrets, patient in the shadows, right there where we left them waiting. And no matter how far we run, they run right beside us. Our demons know our names. We all find our secrets, patient in the shadows, right there where we left them waiting. And no matter how far we run, they run right beside us. Our demons know our names better than anyone. Lie, 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 lie. Oh, lie, lie,
The song is over. Just then, you hear a man yell, "Shut up!" It's an extremely drunk, obnoxious fella at the table right by the piano. And he was trying to have a conversation, as probably most people were. But he is not happy with the performer. He's got a few sycophants hanging around him. You guys have your table. He's a few tables away. Anyway, you have your drink, and Will you be ordering any food?
I'm just kind of while this is going on, I'm not even drinking my drink. It's just next to me on the bar, just watching for if anybody else is ordering. I'm watching very intently the drunk, angry man.
Barabash is picking on bread.
We need a plate of meat.
Yes, sir. A plate of meat, mutton, I assume. A
Of
chop,
course.
a
Of
chop,
course.
a quarter, a leg. What would you like?
All of it.
Yes, sir. A sprig. Would you like a sprig of thyme on it? I'll take that as a no.
It's
No
herbs.
time. No time for time. I'll be right back, sir. Goes away.
I'm gonna just be like pruning my scales to see if any are loose, in case like that's like a free drink round rule at this bar.
Yeah, no, that scale was a significantly different scale than your scale. It's much larger. Is there anyone you approach? You guys are keeping to yourselves. You all just met each other. Obviously, it's awkward. What would you like to do?
I want to kind of make my way towards this, the most interesting man in the bar, Frederick. And I want to see, what's he doing? Is he still talking? Is he still telling stories, or did he quiet down?
I will join you.
Barabash we're going to not engage in conversation with Frederick, but I'm going to, get closer and hear more about what he has to say and his other endeavors.
Great. You walk over, and he's sort of holding court. I mean, you're not quite sure what to make of him. Does anyone want to roll a perception check? Anything like that?
I
Are
will
you just
perceive.
observing, or you don't care? No analysis.
I'm observing. I'm gonna want to maybe ask him some questions. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I rolled a 18 plus 3, 21.
What you get the sense is he loves this attention. This is like he's got a script in his head, and he's very animated in how he sort of goes blow by blow, and he did this and I did that, and this poor it was such a shame that the wizard got his attention, and crispy wizard. That's very shameful. Good friend. Can't remember his name, but the best friend. Such a great guy. This is horrifying to see a friend that close just burned. But it did give me the opening. I saw the spot right below the front leg. I saw there was a spot that maybe I could slide my sword right in. But just then I was knocked back. I was knocked back by the beast, but I had found the spot. I'd seen it there. And then he turned on my other friend, who the name escapes me, but the other friend, a large man who bare chested, would fight anything, wore a kilt, bare chest, screamed at him, fought him so gallantly as I was collecting myself. My helmet had fallen off. I dropped my sword, but I was collecting myself as he fought gallantly, and when he fell, I saw the chance. To go in and get to that weak spot, and as I approached, the dragon looked at me, so I took cover. Of course, took cover. I took cover behind a boulder, and I prepped and I waited for my turn, and that's when our rogue, the one who had sort of gotten us that far, he had gotten us through all of the traps and all of the different pitfalls, literal pitfalls. Do you know that's a thing? That's not just a word. There are things that are actual pitfalls. We talk about pitfalls. This is a thing. There's real pitfalls. He got us over the pitfalls, and he got us there, and he snuck up behind, and he was gonna get right behind the hindquarters. I could see him sneaking in, and just then, the dragon somehow sensed him, and the tail came around and whipped the poor fella and threw him right into the rock I was hiding behind, smashed him, but the fella had gotten his dagger in with that poison that he has, and he made a strike. The dragon started to slow down, and I could see that the spot, if I could just get to it. And the dragon began to slow down, and you could see it in his eyes. They started to sort of cloud over, and he was not quite as alert. And that's when I got ready to make my move. And just then, the ranger, 3 arrows in a row. I wish I could remember his name. Shot right in one in the cheek, one in the shoulder, one right in the chest, hitting the dragon. The dragon let out such a roar I've never heard before. And he turned and he began to stagger. This cloudy-eyed dragon, this majestic beast, this foul but majestic beast. And he looked over and he found where the arrows had come from, and he let out a mighty roar, and a flames burst, and the ranger never had a chance. He tried to sit behind a tree. These rangers in these trees, you got to go behind a rock. You can't fight a dragon and hide behind trees. Suddenly, the entire forest is ablaze. Every tree is going up, and everything is going. And the dragon, with his final breath, not his final breath. I mean, he was still quite deadly, as you see. He's killed everyone else. As he starts to stagger, I walk up, and I sneak up to him, and I declare, have at you, you foul beast. And I walk over, and as he stumbles, and he falls, exposing the weak spot. And I don't know, he tried to say something. Maybe he asked for relief, maybe he asked for mercy, but this dragon deserved no mercy at all. And I plunged my sword deep into that weak spot, and I chipped off this scale. I chipped it off.
What color is the scale?
Scale of that dragon. What?
What color is the scale?
Well, you can see it right here. It's ruby red, the finest ruby red.
Okay.
And why? What did the dragon do, sir, that made you so opposed to its existence?
It was a dragon. What do you mean? What kind of question is this?
Well, did it attack your town? Did you seek its treasure?
It's a dragon. We heard about the dragon. We went for the dragon.
I'm just gonna look around.
I'm a hero. This is what we do. We attack dragons.
I see. So it's a calling. It's a compulsion.
Well, I mean, if I hadn't done what I'd done, could I be right here telling you this tale right now? Answer me that.
Well, if you hadn't fought the dragon, I suppose you'd still be alive too.
Yes, but who knows what sort of evil dragonry he'd be up to right now? Who knows? Who can
I'd
say?
like to step in front of him, right at chest level, right here, and give my big sausage finger and poke his armor, his breastplate, and I'll say, "There's a human phrase that a knight in shining armor has seen no battle."
I'm scribbling furiously at this interaction.
I've never been so insulted in my life. I will take my leave of you, sir. I do not want to know what I do not want to become the person that I might become should I stand here and be insulted by you again. Barkeeper, thank you very much. I cannot stand this anymore. If anyone has any problem with me leaving, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. You can blame this fellow. This fellow right here. I don't know your name, sir, but I don't like you. And he walks out the front door.
I'm going to turn to Fakes and say, how many times do you think he tells this story every week? 7?
Fakes knowing exactly how many times he tells the story every week because Fakes is a frequent visitor at the tavern, pretends to think very hard, even though he knows every word in the story by now because he's heard it 30 times before, and says, oh, at least a couple of times, I'm sure, and just sort of, nods and tries to not look too interesting to Jorge.
Do we get free drinks every time he tells this story?
The wench comes up. Sorry, was that a question for me? Here's your mutton, sir.
Thank you. I will drown my drink.
That will be 2 gold pieces each, please.
I give the 2 gold plus 1 for a tip.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. But I'm sorry. What was the question? Free drinks? Well, we do love a good story here. Something tells me that Frederick wants to be mayor. I assume, perhaps, maybe. Enjoy your mutton.
Ma'am, you say he wants to be the mayor. Why might that be?
Well, I mean, look around. Who wouldn't want to be mayor of this town?
Oh, so is he campaigning to be mayor to the people of this tavern, seeking their support?
I don't know. It's not an election. It's a contest.
A contest?
Who tells the best story becomes mayor.
Oh, that's fascinating. I'm sorry. I'm not from here. I've never heard.
And these stories don't have to be true.
Apparently not.
I mean, I did just get a gold piece tip out of you. Do you think I care if it's true? Have a great night. She walks away.
Barabash would just like to address the table to say that in his time as an innkeeper and all his guests that never showed up, he's heard a lot of stories, and Frederick's was very generic. He doesn't in a town like this. I think that he's going to have a hard time becoming mayor unless he adds a little bit more spice and a little more plot twist to his dragon story. Like maybe the ranger doesn't die.
Just walk right up to a dragon that just roasted everybody else.
It's a potential plot twist. He should
probably what the dragon said to him was, and then I'm going to say the draconic word for bullshit.
So, Barbash, you think you know but have your patrons told better stories than this man? Do you know any mayors?
I don't know any mayors, no, but I have plenty of forest friends, and they tell me stories.
Maybe you should invite them to this town. They could change careers.
It's something that I'll have to bring up for them if I ever return home.
Well, where's home from you, sir?
Home now is wherever I end up. Barabash, we have many secrets, many things that drive us, and while you seem like a good group of gentlemen, I'm not ready to indulge my drives and desires just yet.
Well, I'm always interested in a good story. If you ever feel like sharing more, I'd love to hear it.
Just then, a young, skinny, very arrogant person in a tunic, sort of cloth armor, pushes right through the middle of you. Ah, I need 4 flagons right now. 4 flagons for the table over there. We've been waiting forever.
I will hand my unsipped flagon to this person.
He looks at you with disdain and he says, "Please leave me alone." Who?
Just-
What?
Just trying to help out. Haven't taken a sip. Can't say I'm able to partake anyway.
He slaps the flagon out of your hand onto the floor.
Wench,
clean this up.
I'm gonna step.
This idiot dropped his.
Jorge and this
It's all over my boots.
and be like, and tell him to say he's sorry, and try to intimidate him.
Roll.
I got a 10.
Yeah, he's not intimidated. He's not intimidated at all. You get the sense that he feels like this is his tavern, and he thinks he can push people around here. He's the one that intimidates. The wench runs over, and she starts cleaning up, and she rolls her eyes at these guys. To you.
Cause problems often.
I better not say anything. Best to keep my mouth shut.
I've seen the way that this ends. It happens quite frequently, and I'd rather just sort of cut to the chase. So, to the gentleman, I try to lie to him that I heard that the police, the constable, is coming to try to clean up this mess and to restore order in the tavern.
He looked at you. Then he points to a small on his tunic, and he laughs. Don't recognize the patch, buddy boy? We are the constable.
Do I was gonna say, do I recognize the
Yes,
patch?
you do. You realize,
And it is the constable.
he is amongst the let's call it a petty sort of district leader.
I'm gonna ask Fakes what this patch means.
It means that he has some sort of authority in these parts.
He works for the alderman, who is sitting at the table. The one yelling at the musicians.
So the alderman is the one who yelled at the musicians?
Yes.
Okay.
Barabak moves to gain a better look at the rest of the... Moves away from this altercation to get a better look at Alderman and the rest of that crew.
I mean, what you see is they sort of have a vibe that they own the place, even though they absolutely don't own the place. And they have a disdain for most of the things that people love about this town. I don't know. Would you like to ask around about him?
Just within, from what we can see, how many deep are these gentlemen?
There are 4 total. You got 4. He ordered 4 flagons.
Okay.
No, it's not worth the trouble. No. No.
Who are you talking to? Dragonborn?
I'm sorry?
Who were you? None of us said anything. Were you addressing someone?
No.
I see. Jot something down. Kind of just looking at him, side-eyed, a little confused, a little interested. What is the rude gentleman who pushed into us doing now that the barmaid has cleaned up the mess? Is he back at his table, or is he still by us?
He's back at his table. He's laughing. He's pointing at you guys, clearly telling a story about how he went in the middle of you, yelled at you, even slapped the flagon out of your hand. You guys all back down. They're all looking over at you.
Barabash once nudges Havel on the arm and asks him if he thinks he should go and maybe ask those guys to pipe down, because Barabash doesn't want to necessarily do it himself.
4 drunk humans at a bar. Sense of authority as I'm eating my whole leg of mutton with grease and leftover ale in my beard. Sounds like a fun night to me. And I will walk over there with my dwarven swagger moving through the crowd.
And I'll just shadow him, walking just a bit behind.
You see, let's do it. Someone roll a perception check.
5 + 2 is 7. Not looking too hard.
Yeah, you're beelining right for this guy. You notice that there's a table in between, right? And those people seem mildly put off by the behavior of the folks at the table.
Maybe he is worth the trouble after all, and I just start looking at my hand, while like also looking between like my hand and them to see what happens.
I'll approach the loudest one who told the fake story, the second fake story I told tonight about us, and confront him and ask him what seems to be the issue.
He looks up at you, then looks up at everybody else around the table, and they all burst out laughing. He says, "Move along before you wind up in the back of the cart in the morning. Just move along."
They have cups or flagons or bottles at their table.
They have flagons.
I'll take a flagon and drink the whole thing, and then try to smash it over his head.
Okay, as you do that, someone else do a perception check.
Let's see, I'm proficient. I got a 15.
Okay, you notice that an immensely large figure watches what's going on and starts making his way over there. And just as Havel finishes that flagon and rears back to swing it, this immensely large figure catches his arm, takes the flagon out of his hand, puts it back on the table, turns Havel around, and gently pushes him back towards the bar. But at this point, the 4 men at the table stand up, realizing what was happening. The large figure says, "None of that in here. None of that in here." They stand up, and they start walking towards the door. And they point at you, Havel. And then they point at the door.
Would I recognize the large creature at all?
No, you wouldn't.
Is it like double the size of a human, kind of? So I'm literally dwarfed.
Yeah, it's certainly, I would say, 8 to 10 feet tall. It's massive.
All right.
And he's wearing a simple, no armor, simple black tunic, black leggings, and this is his job.
I would like to. Barabash is going to intervene and challenge the other group of 4 to a drinking contest to settle the differences.
They're swaying as they look at you. They say, "Nah, way past that, buddy. We'll meet you outside."
Coward.
Knuckle cracking is happening. Neck cracking is happening. And I'm following. And
Yeah,
I'm not waiting
Barrabash
for anybody else.
is also following.
I like this dwarf, and I don't like them, so I'm going to follow as well. And as soon as I step outside, I'm going to summon my axe into my hand that I've been looking at every now and then.
Okay.
Fakes is sort of watching from afar, has sort of been intrigued by these strangers that are so willing to challenge authority, which is usually at least somewhat respected in this town.
Yeah, I'll head outside, and I'm gonna again just kind of keep myself a little bit distant, but just I really want to watch, especially this Dragonborn who just summoned an axe into his hand. I find that very interesting.
So can I see the axe being summoned before we head outside? Is that happening before or right when we get outside?
Well, I'm behind you.
Can I? Is it audible? Can I hear it?
No.
like a shh.
I don't know. I don't think it's particularly audible.
It'd be noticeable though. I would assume I would notice this, maybe a light or something.
I'll
I
probably
would
say,
mime to you.
when I go
fists.
outside, I'm like, fine, I guess they're worth the trouble as I summon it. I'm very clearly talking to the axe.
I would mime the fists. Fists and fighting, no killing.
As you guys leave, you see them at the corner, pointing down an alleyway. They tell you to come. They're shouting things like, they're calling you marshies, things of that nature. Marshies is a big one that they're calling you.
I'm gonna poof out my familiar, which is an owl with golden eyes, and I'm gonna kind of do this a little bit out of sight, maybe like underneath my robe, kind of pull it into, make it appear in my hand, and then let it fly up into the night, and then flutter down somewhere, just perched innocuously on one of the buildings down this alley, just to get a little bit of a view of where they're located.
Okay.
And Fakes sort of steps around the corner and uses his changeling ability to change into a much taller and more formidable looking gentleman that is different than the one that's been interacting with everybody else this evening, in case that different appearance becomes helpful.
Barrabash at this point still doesn't recognize the hostility going on here, and I'm wondering what exactly a marshy is.
It's a great question.
Not a clue.
You guys go around the corner, and those guys now have a variety of weapons drawn. Roll initiative.
So much for fists.
Okay, everyone. Roll a d20.
What a waste of a 20. I got a 21 initiative.
You're probably going first.
Yeah, I've got a 21 as well.
I have a 14.
I have 11.
Okay. Karnath, you are first.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. I actually rolled a nat 20. I had a 24.
Okay. You are first.
The best initiativers.
Yeah,
the best.
Both rolled a 20 on the initiative.
Yeah, and I was not looking to be the one to start this either.
Guess I'll just wait.
Let's see. I'm gonna wait. Actually, it doesn't really make sense for me to start this. I haven't really been in the start of this engagement, so I'll pass, I guess.
Okay.
Are they all sort of near each other?
Well, I mean, they've got sort of a thuggish formation. You know, they would like to bring someone in, sort of a half moon, I guess. They would like to draw someone in and pummel them. But they're fairly close to each other,
Or are there two of them that would be like in adjacent squares if that was a thing?
if that was a thing.
Okay, so I'm going to walk up and as part, so make a melee attack with a weapon against one of the creatures while I cast Green Flame Blade. So I'm going to walk up, and the sword is going to go green, and I'm just going to, or the axe is going to go green, and I just attack the closest one.
Closest one.
I got an 18.
It's a hit.
Okay. So I do 12 damage to him and
He's
3
dead.
damage to the one next to him.
How much?
3.
Oh!
It's like the flame cleaves over into the next one.
The first guy just dies dead. You've taken him through the shoulder and down into the hip of his counterpart. He falls to the ground screaming. He's still screaming, but you know he's never returning to battle ever. He is dead. Dead!
And we say Tilacha hungers.
Who's next?
I believe that would be me. We would be tied. So there were 4. So now there's 3, and 1 has been hurt.
Yes.
I am going to cast Sleep. Are these fellows all within 20 feet of each other?
They are.
All right.
One of the downsides to drawing you into an alley is that it's close quarters now.
I had assumed as much. So let me cast Sleep upon them as I kind of take out this staff that has a small crystal on it that has been attached to my back and make some gestures with it like such. And let me see. I need to roll some dice. Is it going to tell me how many dice I roll? 5d8. Okay. So that's 17. I got 17 total on that. So they're all affected in ascending order of their current hit points, and they will go to sleep if as long as that 17 HP lasts.
So the one that is hurt, this is good for him. This is very good for him because he was in significant pain, and he is now asleep. The other 2 are unaffected.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to kind of back further back.
You notice the one sort of steps in front of the alderman.
I'm gonna say as I'm kind of backing away, let that nice man sleep this off. Why don't you all?
From his gaping green flamed hip wound. Sure. Okay. Who's next?
I believe I'm last.
The enemy got an 11. So does anyone have better than an 11?
That would be me.
All right.
14. So there's 2 guys left and 1 guy's asleep.
Yep.
Is the alderman asleep? The one that was mouthing off?
He is not.
He is not. I will rush him if I can.
Well, you've got to get through what looks like a pretty significant veteran type guy.
Very well. I'll give a hearty let's go, and I will bonus action rage. as you do, and I'll throw the frenzy in there. So the next turn I get an attack on a bonus action.
Okay.
I will take a swing with my warhammer because weapons are drawn, blood is spilled. We're ready to go. And because we're going all in at the first one, we're going to reckless attack this as well, which gives me advantage. And then advantage against me. They attack me. So, and then you said advantage is rerolling only if I miss.
Yep.
So basically a reroll. So we will get, that's a natural 1 plus 5 is 6.
Ooh.
So we'll reroll that with advantage.
Good time to have advantage.
Yep. And that's another 1. So
Whoa.
starting off great.
Oh,
So
you're
total-
lucky. You're lucky
total-
I didn't establish my house rule.
Get rid of that dice.
Yeah, well, this is a good time to bring it up. As you have probably heard me say, this is a role-playing game, ROLE, not a ROLL playing game. However, there are 2 points of a 20-sider. If you roll the same 2 times in a row, there's a 1 in 400 chance of that happening. Now, very bad things happen when you roll 1s. Very good things happen when you roll 20s, typically. From now on, cannot believe it happened on night 1, but from now on, 2 1s in a row is an insta death. 2 20s in a row, though, is an insta kill. So you will defeat virtually anything in that scenario. So you have dropped your weapon and stumbled, which will give your opponent advantage. Who's next? Anyone else? Beat an 11?
I was an 11.
All right, let's roll off.
I don't think he knows what that means. What's your
Just
initiative
roll
bonus?
again. Roll again.
D20.
Yep.
Okay.
What'd you get?
A 3.
Oh, they go. They got a 7. So they're gonna roll, and in your compromised position, Havel, you are going to take a longsword. 2 shots of a longsword. It's tough. First shot is a natural 20. You take 7 points of damage. The second
So with rage, that's half, I believe.
is
Are
it?
we rounding up?
Okay.
Yes. Against all piercing and
Rounding up,
bludgeoning.
so that's 4. Second attack is also a hit. What's your armor class?
17.
17. That is a hit. You will take another 7 points of damage. So it looks like a total of 7 because you take half damage. Okay. Now the alderman. He also moves around. And he is going to, let's see, who else is close? Carnath?
Yeah.
He's going to engage you. What's your armor class?
18.
Yeah, that's a hit. That's a hit. They're rolling well. You take 6 points of damage.
Okay.
He's got 1 more attack. That's a miss. Okay, Shane, you're up. Sorry, Barbash.
Yeah, could I just do produce flame to the closest to the gentleman attacking Carnath and Havel?
Sure. Describe what it does.
So Barabash makes a fireball in his hand, illuminating the dark street, and launches it right into the chest of the attacker.
Roll to hit.
right, is that also D20?
It's a
Yep.
D20, and then you add your wisdom and your proficiency, Shane.
Okay, so I rolled a 17. My wisdom is 15.
Yep.
So your wisdom
You got a
bonus
plus 2.
2.
So 32, and then my proficiency is 2.
No.
Oh.
Plus 2. You're going to see on your character sheet a 15 wisdom gives you a plus 2 modifier.
Okay, so I rolled a 17. What does...
So that's a 19.
Oh, you just add... Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
And
All
then
right.
2 more is at 21.
21. So that's a hit. How much damage?
And how do I do that?
You roll a
21.
D8.
Yep, D8.
Five.
5. Yes. And that's to... Yes. Okay. I got it. All right. He does not seem all that phased. Who's up?
Top of the round.
Top of the order.
All right, so Fakes has just been sort of watching and deciding what he wanted to do, but having seen the alderman sort of try to do this a number of times before, he's decided that this is probably an ideal time to exact at least a little bit of revenge, particularly since nobody knows the face that Fakes is currently using. So I'll use my bonus roll, or my bonus action, to use the Bardic Inspiration. What is the reverse one called? One where he takes Unsettling Words. So he subtracts a 1d6 from the next saving throw he rolls, and I'll target the alderman. And then I'll use Dissonant Whispers and whisper a melody into his brain that only he can whisper. So he has to do a Wisdom 14 save, and he has to subtract a 1d6 from whatever he rolls.
And that's against the leader, right?
Yes.
Got it. Wisdom, no modifier. So it's a Wisdom 14 save?
Yes.
And then what am I subtracting?
You roll a d6 and you subtract it from whatever you rolled on the d20.
Got it. Okay. He's going to fail.
Okay, so it's a 3d6 psychic damage, and then he must use his reaction to move as far as he can away from me.
Oh, okay. I like it.
That is a total of 9 damage.
9 damage. Got it. He will move. Wait, you said a reaction?
Yeah, away from me.
Okay.
And I'm sort of standing in the back. Just I was watching, and now I'm not even sure somebody could have identified exactly what happened because I was just sort of whispering into the fray.
Okay. Got it.
So when he tries to move, I'm going to take my attack of opportunity against him.
Yep, exactly.
I got a 20 total.
Okay, that's a hit. Just for everyone new, attack of opportunity is when someone enters or leaves the melee range. There are certain characters who will be able to use that time to gain an advantage to get an attack in.
So I did 12 damage to him. As I roll 8.
12 damage.
Yeah.
All right, good. Who's next?
I think it's Alex's actual turn now.
All right. So I'm going to be like, you picked this fight, don't run, and Talasha will take your head, and I'm going to Hexblade curse him, the alderman, and I'm going to follow him. So Hexblade curse is my bonus action. And now I do extra damage to him and critical hit him more easily. And then I'm going to walk up and take my axe and hit him again.
Okay,
I got a 23.
that's a hit.
I did 13 damage.
Okay. Who's next? He says, "Damn you!"
How's that man?
You can't
looking?
get away with this. He looks hurt.
Last leg sort of hurt, or
Nope.
okay. And his friend is
Doing fine.
not his friend is untouched, correct?
Standing over
Not,
the dwarf on the
not
ground.
untouched, but doing fine.
Okay. Well, I guess if we're just doing this, I'm going to wave my staff around in a circle and then kind of flick it almost as if I'm hitting a gong. And as I do so, the toll of a loud, like a bell, almost from a bell tower gong, will ring out, and I will toll the dead on the alderman. He needs to make a 13 wisdom save.
Boom. Okay. He makes it.
Okay. If he makes it, it's not half damage, so he is fine.
Yep.
Nothing happens.
He looks at you. He's like, ugh, weirdo. Next.
I believe it was me.
Yes.
I believe so. I am embarrassed now. Is my weapon is close? Can I just pick it
You
up?
can. That is your action. So
Okay. Good thing I have
There
a
you go.
bonus action with my frenzy to attack, and I will reckless attack. So this is the bodyguard guy, I
Yep.
believe. We'll try to do a roll, a dwarven roll scoop, and bring it down. See if it works. That's a 17 plus 5.
That's
is
a hit.
22. That's a hit. We got 1d8 plus 3. It's 4. 4 damage.
4 points of damage. What are you doing? All right, who's next?
So within a turn, real quick, what is the limit when what my character can do in terms of movement and
30
like
feet.
an ability? 30 feet.
30 feet.
Okay. I would like to use. I have a dagger at this point. Can I throw that?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay. And I was further back range, so the bodyguard is still probably the closest combatant
He
to
is.
me. Okay.
Yes, he is.
I'm going to throw the dagger at him. So Barabash opens his cloak, pulls a dagger out from his belt.
It's more of a whittling knife, but go on.
Okay, that's fine. And with the blade between his fingertips, launches it
Okay.
towards
All right.
him.
You've been in a contest or two. Go on.
So this is a D20, correct?
Yes.
All right, that's a 9.
Plus your proficiency,
Plus proficiency is 11.
plus your dexterity bonus.
Dexterity?
It's a miss.
So that's 13.
It's a miss. And clink, 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 clink. Your dagger has clinked down the alleyway on the cobblestones and is gone.
Would my familiar have seen where his dagger went?
Sure.
Okay.
Are you paying attention to what your familiar is seeing?
I'm not looking through it.
Okay. It would have seen it. Yes.
Okay. It's not my turn though.
Okay. Who's up? Oh, it's them. Okay. The bodyguard. Let's see. Who does he not like? Well, Havel's still his guy. He's very aggro, so he's gonna give it to you. That's a 22. That's a hit. 7 points of damage. He's gonna swing again at you and miss the second time. So 7 points of damage, Havel.
Reduced to 4.
The alderman is moving away quickly and yelling, "Murderers! Murderers! Murderers!"
So he's running away from me again.
He's running away.
All right, I'm gonna attack of opportunity him again.
No, he's too far.
But I walked up to
Did you
him.
get in the melee?
Yeah, I attacked
Okay.
him last turn.
He's getting away. Go on.
guy. 19.
That's a hit.
And then so it's +2 to this, so that is 14 damage.
Okay, very good. Next.
The top of the round again.
Yeah.
Barbash.
Yeah, someone was last. No, you already went. No, top of the order.
Barbash. Okay, top of the order.
He looks quite injured.
How injured does he look? I'm gonna try to use a charm person to get him to stay and not run away, so that we can. I don't know what we're gonna do with him, but we're gonna do something with him. So it's a Wisdom 14 save. Charm person.
He does not save.
Okay, so he regards us as friendly, and I'm like, "Come here, where are you going, buddy? Where are you running off to? We're friends."
Well,
That's my turn.
apparently he does buy it. Not as good a story as the dragon story, and yet somehow he believed this one. Next. He turns around. He's like, listen, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Everything's fine. Yes. Look, nobody had to get hurt. Look, it's fine. Everything's cool. It's a night out. We're being rowdy. I get it. It's fine. Who's next?
Chris, Palm.
Palm?
Oh, I thought it was your go, Alex.
Oh, yeah, it is. I forgot because I attacked him at the end of last round. I'm going to just try to chop this dude's head off.
Okay. Your new friend,
Yeah.
the alderman.
16.
That
He's that dude's friend.
is a hit.
That is 8 damage.
Okay. He is not dead.
Andy is no longer our friend either.
And I'm
Who's it?
doing.
Go ahead.
I'm going to step so that I am on the other side of him from everybody else.
Okay. Who's next?
Now it's Palm.
Now it is me. The first thing I'm going to do is my familiars. I'm going to ask it real quick telepathically that if it saw Barnabash's dagger, to please return it to him. So the owl will swoop down towards the dagger if he saw it.
Easily done.
Okay. And then if he still has movement left, he'll just land on my shoulder. But let's see. So how's this alderman looking now?
Hurts.
Very.
Struggling.
I'm going to cast another sleep spell. So that's going to be, so again, wave out my staff in almost a calming, lazy manner, and I will roll 5d8s again. That is 19 hit points of sleepiness.
He falls asleep.
No, I have more than that.
Oh, I don't have time for this. Just whatever. And he curls up next to a dumpster, sits down.
And I'll say, maybe we can take this somewhere else with less trouble.
Surely he's more useful alive than dead.
Okay, who's next?
That'd be me.
Yep.
So the alderman's asleep. The bodyguard in front of me is still banged up but alive.
He is alive, yes. Not even sure I'd say banged up.
I would say I am lost in the red fog now from First pride and then embarrassment, and I'm going to take 2 swings at him recklessly and try to cleave his head in with my hammer. So we're going in with advantage on the reckless attack, but first one's an 18 plus 5, 23. And then the second one, if he survives, is a 3, which I will reroll to a natural 20.
Okay, roll your 20 again.
Okay.
This is the house roll. You get
House
one more
roll.
roll.
Not a 20. Does it matter what that number is? Or is it just
No, if it's not a 20, it doesn't matter at all.
no 20. So the first one, regular one, is an 8 plus 3, so 11.
Okay, the next one is full damage. Everything you're capable of on the 20.
That's another 8 plus 3, so 22 total.
Okay. 22, very good. Very good. Now he's hurt. His turn?
Barabash's turn, right?
No, you lost the roll off.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the veteran's turn, and he really doesn't like Havel. And he rolls a critical hit. Double damage, 14 points.
Down to 7.
I'm going to use my Chronal Shift ability as a reaction to turn back time and make him re-roll that attack roll.
Okay. He misses. With his second attack, what's your armor class?
17.
He hits the second time for 7 points. Okay, who's up? Barabash.
So Barabash is going to produce flame again. He's going to conjure up this fireball in his hand. And this time he's going to... He hit him in the chest last time. This time he's going to try to hit him, directly right in the same spot and try to have the flame engulf his torso.
Vicious.
So I'm going to do D20 is 5.
Nope.
That's
That's a miss.
a miss.
Next.
All right.
Next.
Barabash is not in his prime right now. Let's go.
It happens.
Top of the round.
Top of the order.
Okay, so the last time that we tried to incapacitate the alderman, the Dragonborn tried to just kill him. I think he's more useful alive than dead. I think the thing that I have to do is convince Karnath not to kill him and convince him that he's worth more alive than dead to us, and that killing him doesn't really get us anything, but capturing him or whatever we're going to do with him is a hell of a lot better than just killing him for no reason. So I don't know whether that's a persuasion roll against Karnath.
That's a persuasion.
Okay. So I rolled a 3, but anytime I try to do persuasion, I can turn any roll that's lower than a 10 and treat it as a 10.
Okay.
I have
It's
plus
a 10.
8 to persuasion, so it's an 18.
All right.
Okay.
Karnath, I'm going to tell you what your roll is, and it's a 19. That's a save.
Okay.
So you are unmoved by his request.
Well, he is my party member,
Next.
so that's me. So I'm just going to raise my axe like I'm going to coup de grace this dude who's asleep at my feet now, and then just start arguing with myself, verbally. He's promised.
All right.
Pass the turn arguing with my
Next.
axe about whether I have to kill this guy or not.
Next.
All right, so I don't really have. What is this bodyguard doing as he watches this happen?
He's not watching. He is fully invested in the fight. He's trying to kill Havel.
Okay, so he's trying to murder Havel. Okay. I am going to, and so the alderman is still asleep.
Yes.
I'm not very strong. I don't know if I can move this alderman or anything, but maybe I will. I have some rope. I'm gonna go try and tie up the alderman. What would you require from
Sleight
me?
of hand.
All right. Not very good, probably, but let's see what I roll. 13.
Yeah, he's asleep. That's good enough.
All right. I just particularly want to bind his legs and then his hands secondarily, if I can.
All right, you're working on that. It's going to take a couple rounds to do. Who's next? Havel? Is it you?
Can I unpass now?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to just move up behind the bodyguard and attack him.
Okay.
I got a 20 total,
It's a hit.
and I do 6 to him.
Ugh. He's still standing. Tough. Havel.
The blind rage continues. 2 reckless attacks at this guy who just got stabbed in the back. First one's at 11 plus 5, 16.
Miss.
All right, so the advantage is a 3, so that one misses. And then, so got stabbed in the back and moving around, and my hits are missing. So the second attack is a 9, so advantage reroll, into a 6. So we're swinging at air while this guy flails around.
And then he comes back at you. And with a 17. What's your armor class?
17.
That's a hit. 7 points. Who's
Looking
next?
pretty banged up.
Who's next? Bear Bash.
I think it might.
Okay,
Is it the bodyguard's turn?
He just
That was
hit.
the bodyguard.
Oh, that. Or,
Yeah.
Yep.
Could Barabash help Jorge tie up the alderman to help him get back in the fight quicker?
I mean, you could take over, sure.
I would like to take over the rope duties from Jorge. Barabash is going to excuse himself from this fight and grab
So
the rope
which-
from Jorge.
Yeah, what you're going to do is you're going to get an aid conferred to you. So it's going to be a +1. Now you need to roll your sleight of hand, but you're I'm sorry, a +2. So you're going to re-roll a sleight of hand, DC 12. So what you need to do is get a 10 or better total.
All right, so I'm rolling D12 right now.
A D20.
D20.
And you're a +2 to that roll for your sleight of hand. I'm looking at your character.
That's an 11.
Did you roll an 11 or did you roll a 9 +2?
No, I rolled an 11.
You rolled an 11. Okay, that's good.
So now Barabash.
That's good.
Now Jorge is back in the fight, right? And Barabash is tied up.
Yep.
Working. All right, cool.
That's right. Okay, who's next? Top of the order?
I'll give a nod of thanks to.
Top of the order. I guess I can help with that too. He's still, or is he fully tied up, or do we need some more work on that? Okay. How injured does Havel look?
I don't know.
Havel?
How injured does he look? Havel? How injured do you look?
Look like I just went 12 rounds with the bear, but I'm still kicking and swinging.
Healing word it is. So I admire how this brazen dwarf has challenged what appears to be pretty superior foes. And I cast a healing word, which I unfortunately rolled a 1. So 1 + 4 is 5. 5 points of healing.
Could be the difference. Could be the difference. Next.
I am going to begin chanting in Primordial as I swing my axe into his back, casting Wrathful Smite. into the bodyguard's back. So if I hit, he's going to take an extra d6 psychic damage and have to make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of me until the spell ends. So I got a 15.
Okay.
Does that hit?
That does not hit.
Okay, then I did not do nothing.
Next.
All right. I guess I will. Now, so I'm freed up now. I'm no longer
Yes, you're freed up.
dying.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to toll another dead on this bodyguard. He needs to make a wisdom 13.
Okay. He does not make that. He fails that.
He only takes 2 damage.
Okay. That's it.
Gone. Yeah, and I'm also going to have my familiar swoop down and take the help action to give advantage on the next attack against the bodyguard.
Okay. You know, when you were younger, so much younger than today, you never needed anybody's help in any way.
Okay.
Go on. Next.
That would be me in my frothing madness. Will issue a hard thanks back to the healing word and go for the coup de grace, so to speak, not in the rules, on his head with 2 reckless attacks. Unfortunately, the helping will not affect me because I'm still reckless attacking. It's not going to change.
I'm giving him advantage already. You don't need a reckless attack.
I'm reckless attack. It's what I'm going to do. It's the depths that we're in. So the first one is a 10 plus 5, which I believe misses. So we'll advantage roll that into a 17 plus 5 is 22.
That's a hit.
That'll hit. I got one. And that one is 6 plus 3 is 9 damage.
Oh, he starts looking around for potential escape paths. But he's next.
No escape. I got one more attack.
And he's going to take 2 swings.
I got one more attack.
Oh, okay. All right. Go on.
I'm a frenzied berserker.
Mhm.
13 plus 5 is 18.
That's it.
That's another one. Another whop on the helmet. And 8 plus 3 is 11.
Oh, he's dead. Oh.
Caved in the helmet.
He groans, laying on the ground. You can hear his straining for his last breaths, fighting. He's not giving in. He's not a deer in the field, giving in, surrendering. He's fighting it, and yet his body has decided not to. And he lays there, raspy.
Can I end that raspiness by just chopping his head off?
Yes, you can.
And I'll just leave the axe buried in the stones after it chops his head off and just, like, it's just stuck in the ground.
Okay.
Barabash is just, he's flustered from his misses and the knife throw and still mad that he doesn't know what a marshy is. Barabash is in rare form right now.
It's tough. It's tough seeing life in the big city. Nothing, they say nothing good happens after midnight, and I would say that's true here.
Seems like we're all in this together now, boys.
Okay, you have 2 dead men and 2 sleeping fellas in an alleyway, not far from one of the most popular sections of town with nightlife. So,
is either of the 2 people that's still alive the really mouthy, rude one?
No, he was the first to go.
Oh yeah, fuck him.
He got smoked like a pack of cools. All right, what are you gonna do?
Powerbash has no real knowledge of the city, and he's now found himself an accomplice to a street fight with a group of gentlemen that I guess we're now all in it together. So I think we should maybe Fikes, since he's been around the city a while, maybe he has a suggestion of what we can do now.
Ordinarily, this is the part where we leave town.
It's going to be hard to drag a body out of town that everybody recognizes.
So I am going to, while this discussion is taking place, I'm going to open my spell book, start kind of muttering and incanting unseen servant. It'll take 15 minutes though. I don't even know.
15 minutes at a crime scene? Okay.
So I'll cut it early if we move before then, but I figure I'll start on it.
All right.
So like a engine that's overheated with steam and hissing going on, I'll stand over the bodyguard's body, heaving, taking my point of exhaustion for frenzy, which is a disadvantage on ability checks right now. And I'll say it was just supposed to be a fist fight with some ruffians. And you, pointing at the dragonborn, made it lethal.
I'm going to point at the weapons that they were holding in their hand and be like, sure.
I'll hold up my fist. The fist the size of my head and your head. This was the weapon.
So the only way that I assume we're going to get out of this is by pretending that we're going to help him. So again, I sort of slip to the side and change my form into different than the gentleman that was participating in the battle, and come back and announce in a very loud voice, clear the way, we have to get the alderman to the hospital, clear the way. And I, pick him up and sort of try to throw him over my shoulder as I'm trying to convince everybody that's watching that I'm trying to help and not at all trying to steal the alderman's body.
I will cut short my incantation and go help with this.
Roll a persuasion check.
And I'm going to tap him on the shoulder and give him guidance while I'm helping him lift up this body, giving him an extra D4.
So I rolled a nat 15. I have +8, and then I rolled a 2 on my D4. So that's a 25 total.
Okay. I see a +6 on your character sheet for persuasion.
+8 on my character sheet.
It's good. Okay.
Yeah, I have expertise. I don't know if it comes through on my character sheet, but the bard ability that I have doubles the expertise bonus in persuasion.
Okay. Okay, you've got him. There are a few people milling about that have watched this. They're drunk. You don't get the sense that they're horrified. You wonder how often this happens. Which way are you going? Are you going down the alley the back way, around the back? Or are you going out into the main street in front of the inn, the tavern?
I'm going to try to be taking him back to my home, whichever way that direction is.
That would be forward through the alleyway.
That's fine then.
Okay.
The most important thing is to leave as quickly as possible.
What about the other sleeping henchmen?
I'm going to leave that to somebody else. I'm dealing with this guy.
I'm going to just pick that guy up over my shoulder and follow Fakes.
Okay. You guys go down to the end of the alley. You go around the back. There's a much smaller sort of cross alley that's just for sort of it's access for supplies and servers and employees. But the first thing you notice as you come around the bend is a very large, blonde, naked corpse, looking very similar to a certain storyteller inside of the bar, and carved into his chest, his bloody chest, carved into it is the word hero.
I didn't do that one.
Seems right to me.
Barrett Bass calls him a marshy.
Obviously, it's a very dangerous night to be out.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
Perhaps we, Karnath, perhaps we can drop our friend off here.
Sure, I'll drop him.
So you're sleeping alderman. You're dropping off here.
No, the henchman that has like the flame burn on his hip.
The sleeping one.
And I would like to investigate this body and see anything I can tell about how this might have been carved into him, or any other signs of a struggle.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. There are no signs of a struggle, and you do find one other wound right at the base of his neck where it meets his shoulder. You see one sort of downward piercing hole, and it's quite small. It's not a slashing or even like a sword. It's quite a very precise sort of wound, and that looks to be the wound that killed him. And then he was stripped of his armor, and with almost surgical precision, the words "hero" are carved, almost like you would carve your name into a tree.
I'm going to cast guidance on myself, and I would like to look at this wound that killed him more closely to see if I can tell what sort of weapon, or if there maybe was any poison involved, just anything more about the killing blow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no poison. There was it's almost like an awl, not so much a dagger, but almost like a ice pick,
like a tool of some sort.
Sort of tool.
I see. Okay.
Jorge, the humans tend to come around and find dead bodies soon. We should follow Fakes.
Okay.
Certainly.
You guys can make it back to Fake's apartment safely with the sleeping alderman. And that is where we will pick up next week. That seems like a good break point. Okay. We got a lot done in under 2 hours, folks. That was a really good introduction for you guys. I got a great sense of what each of you bring to the table. Let's give some quick takeaways as a party. What you guys think your strengths and weaknesses are.
Just want to go down the line of initiative from the last battle, maybe.
Sure. It's just
strengths and weaknesses. This is like out of character.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, let's stay in character. You guys are in your apartment, thinking about what you did well as a group and what areas you think you struggled.
I think that we did not coordinate particularly well what our goals were in the middle of that battle. Some people were a little bit bloodthirsty and others were more strategic.
I would certainly agree, although I do have to say I'm grateful that to have some muscle while that went down. I have many abilities and many spells, but when it comes to going toe-to-toe with somebody, I don't think things would have gone quite as smoothly if I didn't have some of you, but I do agree.
I'm going to just be staring at the alderman and just say, he's promised.
I think that might be some of the bloodthirst you were referring to, Fakes.
Overall, I think that went pretty well. A little bit extreme for what should have been an easy bar fight. I was looking forward to more beer and lamb. But now we have a person of interest to talk to and to make known that we will talk, as I side-eye the Dragonborn, and not let loose our urges.
He seems a reasonable sort. I'm sure that we'll be able to just talk our way out of this.
Yeah, I'm going to give an observation that's maybe inside each of you is a creeping thought that took way too long, especially in a city. Something that takes that long really can lead to much bigger problems. You're fortunate. It's late in the night. Everyone is drunk. You were far enough down the alley that you really didn't draw much attention. But in general, in the city, that could have turned really ugly if more people had gotten involved.
Took like 30 seconds.
Way too long. 30 seconds is an eternity. Okay. With that, we're going to close it out.
All right.
Everyone, I want to thank you for this first episode. We learned a lot about our group here. I think we have some really strong players. We've got some new energy. We've got some careful people. We've got some reckless people. Those make for really interesting situations. And I want to thank everyone for entering this mad world. And let's look for more madness next week. Thanks, everyone.